Hello and welcome once again to It's a Frankly Hairy podcast. I'm your host, Frank Weber. I'm so glad that you could join me in the forest again today. This is episode number 40. So glad that we've gotten this far. I can't do it without you. And it's going to be a fairly special show. The holidays are over now, and hopefully yours were good. Mine were outstanding. I have a lot of stories from that. I can't wait to share with you. Not sure I can share all of them with you. This is only a 20 to 30 minute show, and I was thinking about so many so far, but hopefully you had a great Christmas and New Year's or whatever you were celebrating over the last couple of weeks. This is the first time I've recorded here in like 2 or 3 weeks, I think. I don't know, time just moves so fast and kind of runs together. It is January 8th, though, when this show comes out, and I need to shout out a happy birthday to the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. I'm an Elvis fan, and I know he's listening from upstairs at Graceland today, and so happy birthday, King. We love you, and hopefully we'll get to see you again sometime. You know, the joke was that the joke someone told me anyway was that he was rooming with JFK there for a while. But I don't know if, JFK didn't seem like a really southern type of guy, so I don't know how he would have liked it there in Memphis. But I went there one time. I like Graceland. It was a very retro house. Seemed like kind of late 60s, early 70s, a lot of shag carpet, avocado green, so I like retro stuff, nostalgic things like that. They won't let the tourists go to the upstairs. They say for the privacy of the family, but if you don't let us go upstairs, then we're going to make up stories about why you won't let us upstairs. So that's the joke there. Hopefully you chuckled a little bit at least with that one. So yeah, had a lot of great stories and time on vacation. I went to Las Vegas and then to Maui and then back to Las Vegas and then back to home. And so we had occasion to go through the TSA 4 different times in order to have a trip that was in a relatively straight line, which is pretty important to us these days. We had a lot of, we didn't have any incidents with them, but we have some frustrations. A lot of the airlines, the airline that does not charge for baggage still wanted to take us all over the country for like 18 hours before they sent us to Maui. So we had to go on a different airline from Las Vegas, and that one happens to charge for baggage. In case some of y'all don't know, the airlines used to not charge for the first 2 bags until about 20 years ago. And that caused a lot of people to take carry-on through, as much carry-on within the size limits through TSA. And so we wound up doing some of that this time. It wasn't really a frustrating experience, but we wound up getting like 2 or 3 bags stopped for inspection every time. I have for the last few months, I started using a CPAP for anti-snoring, and that's a prescription device that requires distilled water. And some of the officers recognized, CPAP and the use of distilled water. You can bring a reasonable amount of distilled water. I think it's something like at least a liter with you through the TSA checkpoint, and it doesn't count toward your carry-on or anything like that. But some of the officers didn't know what a CPAP was, or that you can bring medical devices through and distilled water, and so that frustrated me a little bit. They put the water through like this little scanner to tell them that it's distilled. I still don't understand how that bomber a few years ago managed to make water combust in his little chemistry project on the plane with his shoes or whatever the hell that was back then. But anyway, some of the officers didn't know about this stuff, and And we're still kind of confused because there's still a lot of non-uniformity among airports, and even some cases within the same airport. We had Maui had like two different screening devices or something. One of them you didn't have to take anything out or take anything off, which is the ideal way to go. And then the other one you had to take everything out, and we managed to get, of course, the second one. So they kept stopping my wife's bags because something that new that I learned when we got married is that she likes to bring cooked food on the plane through the baggage, and then they stopped her with the brisket on the way out there. I don't know. And then he was kind of just looking it around and inspecting it, and have no idea what they were looking for. And then on the way back, they stopped it for some special oatmeal she bought and a pineapple or two. And then they even stopped it for my new computer. Like, they took my new computer and started rubbing it down with like some stamp thing or something. It was, I don't know, pretty bizarre stuff, but we didn't cause any trouble. We managed to get our bags back and nothing confiscated or anything. We're law-abiding citizens. We're not going to do anything too crazy. Well, anyway, let me go ahead and tell you about the vacations now. I guess I'll go ahead and start with Maui. Now, I've been to Hawaii once before. I took my dad to Honolulu once on Oahu Island for the ADA convention, probably about 15 years ago. Now, of course, there I could have made like some references to Magnum PI or Hawaii Five-0 and Bookham Dano and all that stuff. But of course, Maui is a little bit away from that. It's actually a little bit closer to the mainland, just a little bit. And anyway, we went over there. It's a beautiful place, gorgeous. I'm always envious of tropical weather that is comfortable, temperate, warmish, low 80s every day, maybe a little bit of a breeze here and there. But terrific weather, terrific for being outdoors, whether at the beach or the swimming pool there at the resort, or we did some snorkeling. I played golf on Christmas morning. Had a good time with a guy from Alaska. Enjoyed playing golf with him as a pair. What was that guy's name? Dave, maybe? I don't remember now. I think it was Dave from Alaska. What else? And we also went and saw a dormant volcano. Went up to the top of it. It looked a lot like Mars up there as far as the terrain goes. Now, I've never been to Mars or anything like that, but it would be a good set for a sci-fi movie. Apparently, NASA has an observatory up there. The common folk are not allowed to go in there, though. But yeah, I just had a great time for a few days out there. Great weather, great people, great food. No gambling, of course, in Hawaii, so you can always kind of get away from that. It is a little expensive out there. I did get a little glimpse of the Kapalua golf course. I didn't play there, but the Kapalua golf course is where they're plantation course is where they're having the PGA tournament this weekend. It's still the weekend before the 8th, by the way, as I'm recording this. But yeah, I really enjoyed it out there. It is a little on the expensive side, and I guess that's true for a lot of islands. But yeah, I love it. Would love to go back. And then, of course, we also spent some time in Las Vegas, which I've been to 1,000,000 times. And I always enjoy my time there. My wife and her sister are big-time slot machine gamblers, and they even do like fake slot machine gambling online. And it's weird because, like, with the fake stuff, they wind up winning like $1 million or $2 million, or they fake dollar amounts too, of course, from fake gambling. But anyway, this time when they gambled in Las Vegas, the gambling wasn't nearly as good. I didn't really win anything. But I'm amazed because, like, the last day we were there on, I think it was Monday the 30th, the last full day we were there. We went downtown to Fremont Street at the El Cortez, some old Las Vegas hotel and casino, and they didn't really do too well with gambling, but they liked it better than, way down there on the Strip, where sometimes it's very hard to win and a lot of things are very expensive down there on the Strip. It's a little bit more reasonably priced, a little bit more old Vegas there on downtown on Fremont Street, but like they'll gamble for like 10 hours and they're not doing really good, not winning a lot of money, and somehow they manage to make their money last that long. Because like if it's me, because I went over there and gambled a little bit too, but then if the machines are not producing for me and I feel like I'm losing all my money, I'm like out of there. I'm like, see ya, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to have to go down the street and see what's happening on Fremont at the show down there on the ceiling, or I found a nice toy store that had a lot of old antique toys in it and stuff, but and some other interesting shops and things down there. But anyway, they can go on and on and on, and they've even left. My wife has even left me in the hotel room all night while she gambled with her sister. That's happened before too. I don't know how they do it. It's the craziest thing, especially if they're not winning. But now I forgot where I was going with this story here. But I don't know. I think what it was is we were downtown in Old Vegas, and I still like Vegas. I still enjoy my time there, but it's gotten really crowded, and it's fairly expensive now, I think, for what you get. And they had and right there in El Cortez, they had some pictures from the Mob Museum. For everybody who doesn't know this, the Mob basically founded Las Vegas, and the principle back then was everything. It was obviously an adult playground, and everything was really cheap and affordable except for the gambling. And of course, if you gambled a lot, then you got comps and got free hotel rooms and free food, free shows, and all that stuff. I don't know how anybody gets a lot of free stuff anymore there. It's really kind of sad. It's kind of like a lot of stuff where Vegas has kind of forgotten its roots, because now it's, now they want to have more kids there and make it more family friendly. And now they have sports there because all the sports leagues have made a deal with all this gambling stuff that they never ever would have done in more than 5 or 10 years ago. So that's there now, and now you got expensive high-end shopping, expensive shows, and I don't know. I'm always for going back to simpler times and not forgetting your roots, I guess. I don't know if I can talk my wife to going back to Reno. I hear Reno's smaller and cheaper still. So I don't know. We may have to try that next time. Nothing against Vegas or anything like that. I mean, I still have a fairly positive experience when I'm there. And we did miss the Cybertruck bomber guy at the Trump Hotel, by the way. I think that was the day after we left, because we were there Tuesday morning, and I think that was on Wednesday. Anyway, I don't know. But I had a great time. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to come back, get back to work, do the podcasting. Going back to school, actually, here next week, online with financial planning and business administration. So it should be a lot of fun. I haven't announced that yet on the show, but yeah, we had a great time. Speaking of Vegas, I had a story there. I'm also nostalgic. I'd kind of like to. I wish I was around to go and see like the Rat Pack with Dean and Sammy and Frank and was it like Joey Bishop? I think was another one. Shirley MacLaine was involved somehow. I know Leslie Nielsen did a fake autobiography a few years ago where he claimed to be part of the Rat Pack. And in fact, I still have that book. I think that's the same book where James Dean told him that Leslie reminded him of an old Buick. Anyway, obviously, I love Leslie's sense of humor. He's no longer with us, of course, but I don't know of anybody who's ever written a fake autobiography before he did. But oh yes, of course, I almost forgot. I would also take like late 70s, early 80s, in the time of Dan Tana from that show Vegas. I think that would have been a pretty cool time to be there as well. I think. I just always wish I could go back and maybe do a time machine type thing. Now let's see, what else do I have? Well, over the break, over the holidays, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I guess this is too niche of a subject, but obviously there's been a lot of college football bowl games in the playoff. And honestly, I think the playoff absolutely sucks. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it just feels so contrived and stale to me. And they've had 8 games so far. None of the teams that I have wanted to win have won. And I'm always kind of wondering about the format there, because the top 4 seeds got a bye, but then the other 8 teams had to play the week before, and 4 of those teams got a home game. But then none of the bye teams got a home game. They had to go straight to a neutral site bowl game because they're using the bowl games as part of the playoff. But I don't know, the whole thing reeks of money and popularity, and we want this team and not that team or whatever. And then I'm also pretty upset because while I was in Maui, and speaking of Memphis, in fact, Tech was playing in Memphis, lost to Arkansas. Both teams were decimated because of this damn transfer portal and name, image, likeness and stuff. And I guess neither of them really kind of looked like the team that they had fielded earlier in the season. I don't really know what to do about some of that stuff. I think getting these guys to sign contracts would be a good start. I had been wanting this to happen a few years ago. Before the transfer portal and NIL, I wanted these guys to honor their scholarship and then all their years of eligibility at the school, barring, certain circumstances. And it seemed reasonable because the donors have to pay for these kids to go to college. But I don't know. I've heard that these guys don't even go to class. So what the hell are donors paying for? But now they've got buku bucks going on around their, NIL stuff and people transferring to where they can get a better deal and stuff. And if they're getting these big contracts, it goes within reason that they should, well, they're not getting contracts, they're getting big dollars. But with the big dollars, they need to be signing contracts and committing to the schools. And as long as they're healthy, they need to be out there playing. We have a very popular young man and running back whose name I guess I won't say on here, who decided to opt out of the bowl game because somebody told him, well, you don't want to get injured for the NFL, but you're still on the team this year. We need you. Bowl game's not fly-by-night thing. We want to put our best foot forward. Can use it for a springboard for next year. It's all about priority. And you've got to make these kids see that, and I know I grew up in a different era and expect more out of everybody, really. But something's got to change. You've got to be a little bit more commitment, got to be from the players, and a commitment from the coaches to building teams, building dynasties. I always wonder why the coaches don't do more about this. I heard a rumor that Nick Saban retired because of this NIL transfer portal stuff. I guess that's true. But you would think that the coaches could get together and maybe do something about this. But then I'm wondering if they're making the big bucks because they're a product of this system or promoting this set of systems that has allowed all this to happen in college football. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. It's been a very difficult bowl season. There really haven't been a lot of great games. I mean, there's been one or two, but for the most part, they've been kind of duds, if you will. Oh, I see that we're over 20 minutes here already. I do have a couple of things more to say, and then we'll wrap it up for this week. Just some news from today. I'm perturbed, maybe a little bit disturbed. Biden gave out some presidential medals of honor today. And I don't know how many exactly there were. I've just heard of a few of the names. It included Michael J. Fox and Denzel Washington. I like those guys. I don't have any problem with them, but I'm not sure what exactly they did to earn Presidential Medal of Honor. And then a lot of us are kind of disappointed. He also gave one to Hillary Clinton and then George Soros, who are progressive people who were not really sure how much they really love America or not. Seems like this administration has just made a mockery of awards and institutions its entire time, and it seems like they can't get out fast enough. I don't know. There's a talk here. I'm a fan of Adam Carolla. He is quoted as talking about the progressive movement and why they won't stop. And he basically says, well, you've got the words progressive and then movement. Who suggests that they're ever going to stop? Right? But you have progressives like these guys. I heard somebody say this, a British guy whose name escapes me, but he was basically saying, and this is my paraphrase, but that some of these people like Soros, they're basically wanting to bring humanity back to the Garden of Eden, and then progressives, of course, are going to replace God, and then they're going to remake humanity in their image, basically, is what they're trying to do. And it's very scary stuff. I mean, I think we maybe turned a corner trying to thwart it. We'll see how time goes on going forward, but it's just a lot of that progressive stuff just isn't going to work. It's just with humanity. I mean, we're made in the image of God. We're not made in the image of progressives, and some of the outrageous stuff they're doing is continues to be beyond me. Let's see. I do want to tell you one thing before I go here. I wasn't sure I was going to do this, but maybe we should make this a regular segment. I don't know, but I'm always talking about things about what things that they don't teach you in church, which is a lot. And, if you really want to know God and you really want to know his ways, you have to seek him out and pray to him and so forth. Don't rely on any one church to teach you everything. Some things I think are purposely left out or purposely hidden. I promise you there's probably a few things that are made up too. But one thing that a lot of Christian churches can agree on, and I don't know that we talk about this a lot in America because we're kind of rugged individualists and self-determinant and feel like we can press on and be in charge of our own destiny. But God has he has a sovereignty where basically nothing happens or doesn't happen apart from his will. And if you're in relationship with him and you know him, your will and his can kind of match up a little bit more, but ultimately he's in charge of everything. And that's just a quick thought that I wanted to leave you with here. I've been thinking about that a lot. There's so many things that they just don't talk about. And I just wanted to share that with you. And, as I continue to study on my own and pray a lot and, would love to hear your thoughts on that, whether you think that's accurate or if you think I'm full of it. I'm pretty sure some people aren't going to agree with me on it. But, well, anyway, I think that's a good first recorded show of 2025 after our New Year's show. I do have to say something here near the end, not quite the end, but almost the end. My Aunt Joyce, which was my father's sister, I think I mentioned here on this show, passed away Friday morning, January the 3rd, from glioblastoma. And I just wanted to, tell the family if they're listening. I mean, I've already contacted them and I'm probably going down there this week anyway. I'm terribly sorry to hear that, and just really sad that she's passed away. Had a lot of great memories down there and enjoyed being with her. We loved her. That was the last of my dad's siblings, and of course my dad's been gone 11 years now, and it's just so sad. I mean, time goes on and goes by so fast and fleeting, and I don't know, just make the most of it. I know she's with God now, and God has defeated death, and we really have nothing to fear because we have Him. And so, anyway, I just wanted to leave you with that. I know that was kind of a somber end there. Well, let me go ahead and just tell you a little bit. Still working on some changes to the show, maybe doing some guests. Going to focus everything on this podcast from here on, and I'm kind of hoping it'll look very different as the year goes along, and certainly by the end of 2025. I can't do it without you, though. I thank you for listening, and we had a lot of hits from that New Year's Day show. It appeared, but then it's kind of slowed down here in the days afterwards. But can't do it without you, and please go ahead, tell your family and friends, hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and leave me a comment, leave a message. This is intended to be more of a community, and I always look forward to hearing from you. And if you write to me, I will respond to you. So anyway, I look forward to that. But I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you for listening today in the forest. And it's a Frankly Harry podcast, and we'll see you again next week. Love you, everybody. Bye.